Welcome to our real and refreshingly honest conversation around people, culture, and everything in between. Person agrees with each other all the time. Sound peaceful, but a little scary, right? So, do we want the people who fit in with our current vibe or people who shake things up a bit, who fits our current culture? That we do have a seven distinction of being neurogamites, or someone who adds a new flavor to our culture?
Has to align with our values, right? It just means that people who join the team should be clear about how do we operate. Matlab, the core set of values don't change. It is just that we build something on top of it.
So, Puneet sir, on the flip side, you need to tell me that has there been someone that who didn't seem like an obvious culture fit in your 20 years of experience, right, with managing the people, but though the person that you have hired is now end up like being good and performing very good in the role? Anybody that you want to talk about? Any?
Yeah, so I think the there have been people who have come and gone. There have been people who have not behaved in a way that they desired, right? There have been people who have behaved not in a way that we would have thought, we would have liked. But obviously, everybody has their own set of, they have their own world, right? Everybody has their own goals, their aspirations, their desires, right? Their trials sometimes, their difficulties, the family, uh, what do you call it, situation, right? Or situationship, as they call it. So I don't blame anyone. I think, over the years, I've realized that there's no point blaming anyone for what they did or what they did not do. Sometimes you realize that I have either become redundant in this organization, or now this work, which earlier used to interest me, does not interest me anymore. And sometimes you're not able to articulate your displeasure, right, with the work, or you're not able to articulate that I am done here, right? Sometimes you're not able to directly communicate that कि यार हो गया यार बस अब कहीं और जाना है, या वो मैं जाना तो नहीं चाहता हूँ बट इधर से भी ऊब गया, राइट? हाँ, तो कई बार मैं ऊब गया हूँ यहाँ से, पर मेरे को पता नहीं, मेरे को खुद को ही नहीं पता कि मैं ऊब गया हूँ, या मुझे खुद ही नहीं पता कि मैं वो वाला काम कर रहा हूँ 20 साल से, जो मेरे को करना नहीं था। मैं करा तो इसलिए क्योंकि अरे भाई कुछ तो जॉब करनी पड़ेगी, पेरेंट्स का प्रेशर है, अपना खुद का प्रेशर है कि उम्र हो रही है, ये हो रहा है, या जॉब नहीं मिल रही है, या पैसे नहीं आ रहे हैं, whatever. So sometimes you are not able to communicate that. But if your manager or if your colleague makes you realize that, there's no harm. It's always good that you become clear about that. Okay, maybe I'm needed somewhere else. And sometimes if somebody gets an exit from the organization, or if somebody gets fired for some reason, or if somebody loses their job, right? It is for a better situation. They find a better prospect, they found a better company, they found a better employer, they found a better set of skills, right? And they grew into it, right? So sometimes leaving an organization, I mean, I have not seen in the last 4 or 5 exits that we have seen in our company, I don't see an unhappy exit for any reason, right? Just that people don't realize it that time, right? But they, when I even keep talking to people who have left, and they grow into some other role, and that role was waiting for it, and and actually staying back in the same organization will hamper your growth. And I must say through your podcast, Deepika, that I am all yes for people who can leave Nirogam and grow into a bigger role in some other organization. Like Nirogam should not become the cause of hampering your growth. Nirogam should become an enabler of each person's growth, right? Whether it is here or somebody, somewhere else, right? Yeah.
So, Puneet sir, now let me move ourselves to some interview steps might you can give, as you have a long 20 years of experience hiring people and making them a fit in your company some other way. So I have a question, like when you hired someone, so what is that perfect fit? Like right now the Gen Zs are coming and everybody is talking about that I want to be a perfect person, and even lot of channels that I am right now watching, that they say that these are the ideal values that you have to be so that you can be a perfect fit for any organization, right? So what is your mool mantra around it? What is a perfect fit for you?
Perfect तो कुछ नहीं होता है. A perfect body is a dead body. It is perfect in all senses. But as long as you're alive, you can strive for perfection. But you at any point in time, if you become perfect, then you're hampering your own growth. If you are made to realize कि अब मैं perfect हूँ, इसका मतलब आपने वहीं अपने आप को ग्रोथ तो स्टंट कर दी ना. मतलब उसके आगे तो फिर आप जाओगे नहीं, क्योंकि यहीं आपको पहुंचना था. तो ऑब्वियसली द गोल कीप्स मूविंग, राइट? एंड यू कैन स्ट्राइव कि मैं और बेहतर हो जाऊं, और बेहतर हो जाऊं, बट बेहतर की कोई सीमा तो नहीं है, राइट? तो आई वुड से कि yes, for evolving, I would put number one trait or skill for keeping to grow is curiosity. कि मैं इतना जिज्ञासु हूं कि I should be curious to find out and figure out how to do things, how to do this, how to do that, how to communicate, right? And the second most important thing that you should keep learning and acquiring is how to communicate. अगर आपको बात करनी आती है और अगर आप जिज्ञासु हो, if you're curious and know how to communicate, you will keep growing, right? So curiosity and communication. क्योंकि बात करने के ही तो सब पैसे खा रहे हैं ना.
हाँ,
मतलब मैं या तो आपसे लिख के बात कर रहा हूँ, या आपसे बात करके बात कर रहा हूँ, या आपको कन्विंस कर रहा हूँ, या इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा हूँ, या बहाना मार रहा हूँ, या प्रेजेंटेशन बना रहा हूँ. ये सब कम्युनिकेशन ही है, किसी भी तरह का, ऑडियो, विजुअल, रिटन, व्हाटएवर इट इज, right? So I should be able to communicate well, and I should be eager and curious to know more things.
Right, Puneet.
Yeah.
So Puneet sir, when you are hiring for the leadership roles, what do you see that what are the important characteristics that person should have?
Let me be very what do you call it, honest about it, and very straight about it, that I don't know how to interview people, and I don't have a process, and neither have I hired for so many leadership roles. Going back to the first question, I think the first thing that is very easy to do is to match the set of values, right? So while I'm communicating with that person, and by default, humans will judge and evaluate. So, while you are observing observing what do they talk about, what do they like to talk about, what are the skills, what are some of the things, what is common between us. So I operate from a value called harmony. And harmony, this comes from the Gallup 34 strengths. And so what they say is finding common ground. Harmony is equal to finding common ground. So the first thing that I do while interviewing someone or talking to someone is finding common ground. Right? And this is not true for everyone. I mean, everybody would look for different things, but I look for harmony. Right?
So it's a one say that says hire for attitude and train for skill, right? So how do you fit that context in our Nirupam?
So attitude is important, and attitude again, attitude. Frankly, I don't know what attitude will comprise of, but again, it will come from certain set of values you exhibit, right? उस सब थोड़े थोड़े buzzwords है ना, तो अल्टीमेटली वो उसको सिंप्लीफाई करने के लिए यही होता है कि भाई आप एटीट्यूड भी ऐसे ही देखोगे ना, अरे ये तो बहुत ही नक चढ़ा है, अरे ये तो बहुत ही ये तो बात को काट देता है, बट वो सब वैल्यूज पे ही तो आ रहा है कि आप कितना आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है, राइट? आपका क्या धर्म, आप किस चीज को ड्यूटी मानते हो, क्या वो ड्यूटी सामने वाला एक्सप्रेस कर पा रहा है जिस तरीके से आप चाहते हो, राइट? और शायद आप जज कर रहे हो इस इंसान को, बट जज करे बिना आप इंटरव्यू लोगे भी कैसे, राइट? जज तो करना ही पड़ेगा ना, वो बाय डिफॉल्ट होता ही है. सो कमिंग बैक टू योर क्वेश्चन, यू सेड दैट हाउ डू यू conduct hire for attitude, right?
And train for skill.
And train for skill. So training, to obviously when you are hired, then ongoingly training zaruri hai, training is essential, and you keep training people, and it is a good thing about training is that it never finishes. You can train yourself into different things, and the world keeps changing and the training keeps emerging. Hiring for attitude is basically hiring for values. So I would give emphasis on values, that okay, these are our values. This is the attitude is an output of the values that you hold, right?
So Puneet sir, to finish this off, as we have already talked about that, we need to have some certain values when we are hiring in an organization, and that has to be enlisted, right, somewhere, so that when we are talking, let's say in an interview, and right now I'm taking an interview, so I should have those checklists in my mind that this person tick that or not, right?
Yeah.
So I think we as an Nirogamite already decided at what we wanted in our culture to first fit in that, and then definitely if we hired somebody and that person really evolved according to the time, and seeing our culture also people evolve as we have seen, because we have hired somebody that who may not have given any input in first let's say 4 or 5 months, and after that once the person fit in our culture, and then the person started evolving, started doing wonders, right? So Puneet sir, to just finish off our question session, I just want one cool mantra of you till the time, that what are one of your most important values that you look in when you hire in any candidate?
Yes, so as I said, that the topmost value that I look is integrity, and sometimes it is not very forthcoming, right? You can't detect that in your conversations. But for me, integrity is non-negotiable, right? Some people call it honesty, but honesty is different from integrity. Integrity is something that you you basically honor what you're saying. Right? Integrity is, I mean, there could be pages about integrity, but if I had to put it in one simple line, you honor what you're saying. Right? मैंने जो बोला,
Oh my God.
मैं वो करता हूँ, उसके बाद फिर मैं अपने आप की भी नहीं सुनता. Right?
Yes.
Or so I value integrity the most, and then obviously there are other values, being straight, being truthful, not going around, not being very clear in the communication, right? What I want to actually say as my last comment would be that when you're talking to people to hire, to recruit, you should do all your due diligence in the interview itself. What I've seen organizations not doing is, generally what happens is, आग लगी हुई है और फिर जल्दी से कोई बंदा चाहिए और फिर जल्दी से बंदा लेकर उसके बाद फिर हम उसको समझा लेंगे, उसको हम बाद में ट्रेन कर देंगे, उसको हम बाद में बता देंगे कि हम कौन हैं, हम क्या करते हैं. I mean, firing is very painful and very expensive. I would urge everyone to take your time and build a pipeline of people who work for you, rather than, hiring and firefighting at the same time, which is not good, right? Then that would lead to a lot of disappointments, regrets, not only in your life, not only in your organization, but in that person's life.
True.
Right? So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Puneet sir, for all of your mantras for the hiring. And so now we'll be moving ourselves to quick round, and that will be I can call it as a directed lens. That what it mean to you, okay? So you have to answer it very fast, no overthinking. What's the first word is coming in your mind, you need to answer it, okay? So first is that, tell me, what is culture fit in one word for you?
Value fit.
Culture add in a one word?
Culture add in one word is growing.
So would you hire someone who challenges your thinking but aligns with the values?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me, answer me that what's the one question you wish more candidate asked you in the interviews?
One question that I wish more candidates ask me in the interview?
Yes.
Why did you create this job?
Interesting. Okay. So now tell me that best interview question you have ever asked or been asked till now.
I don't remember about my questions because I'm busy judging the person. Then I'm actually taking my, actually paying attention to the question. But one of the questions that somebody asked me was that, why are you doing what you're doing?
So now tell me, Puneet sir, for you, soft skill matter more than hard skills?
I don't know what is the differentiation. I am not that good with these terms. But yes, soft skills would matter more because, that is what you deal on an everyday basis.
So, a recommendation from you, is there a book or podcast that shaped how you think about people and culture?
Book or a podcast which saved me from what?
Any book or a podcast that shaped how you think about people and culture?
Yes, there is a book which I forget about. It is, can you give me one or two? The one that I'm talking about is How Starbucks Saved My Life. I've read that book long ago, but it is a great book to read to know, how people are hired and how culture is passed on. So it is how Starbucks saved my life.
So Puneet sir, it's a tricky one. If you had
Mhm.
to rehire one person on our team today,
Mhm.
who do you pick and why?
When you say rehire, what do you mean by that?
The person who already left
Okay.
from our team, anybody that who you want to rehire on our team again. So who, just say if you wish to, or maybe you can give me a hint. I already know mine.
Yeah, so I would actually rehire a doctor who left,
Okay.
and that doctor, she was a lady doctor. She came from Kerala, and I would rehire because I think that decision, at that time when she had left, we were not even clear about our objectives, and hence we did not have that conversation, which could have made some of them stay back.
So thank you, Puneet sir, for this. Now, to wrap this up, if you had to give one piece of advice to leaders listening who are trying to build strong teams, what would it be?
Okay, so if you're trying to build a strong team, I would urge you to let go of your control over your people whom you have hired. Most of the leaders, kind of make a mistake of keeping the control to themselves. And when you keep that control to yourself, then you not only spoil the culture, you also create a lot of unnecessary disappointments within the organization. And that is when your staff, when your colleagues, your people do not shine. They are when you are controlling, then you are limiting their growth and their creativity. So that is one thing that
Thank you, Puneet sir, for being on this show. And definitely, I hope that has created something for our listener and viewers, that any insights that they can take from our discussions today. And I hope that you are coming on my podcast more often and we are going to discuss something, some about more topics. So thank you so much, Puneet.
Thank you, and I will be there whenever you.
Sure. To all our listeners, if you're building a team, growing culture, or just curious what makes people click, remember, culture fit gives you stability, but culture adds give you a growth. And ideally, you want both. So catch you next time on HR Unscripted, where we keep it real, keep it raw, and always unscripted. Till then, bye bye. Signing off, Deepika.